अव्यक्तं व्यक्तिम आपन्नं मन्यन्ते माम अबुद्धयः परम भावम अजानन्तो मम अव्ययम अनुत्तमम. Hello friends, this is the 24th shlok of the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and today we will understand this shlok in detail. So let's first go over its meaning. So the shlok says Avyaktam Vyaktim Apannam, which means from unmanifest entered into manifest. Manyante Mam Abuddhaya, which means believe me to be the unintelligent. Param Bhavam Ajananto, which means do not understand the supreme nature Mam Avyayam Anuttamam, which means of mine, which is immovable and supreme. So, in this shlok, Shri Krishna is providing a very important message with regards to the manifest and unmanifest form of Him. And this is an idea which I think we should understand very clearly, because this is in regards to which many a times the Sanatan civilization has been criticized, and a lot of people in that sense get confused by it in terms of the criticism that Sanatan gets. So basically what Sri Krishna is telling over here is that the people who are not very intelligent, they think that I have become manifest over here from my unmanifest form, and in that sense what those people think is that uh, the divinity is completely this form of Sri Krishna, which is the manifest form, and they do not really understand the supreme form of the divinity, which is something which is unchanging and which is immovable, which does not really have any sort of change going on inside it, and which is eternal. So because it is unchanging, so it has to be eternal. So it is the supreme form of Sri Krishna, which is eternal, unchanging, that the unintelligent are not able to understand, and they think that he has basically just manifested in this body in itself. Or you can also say that when we create our own idols and we worship them, so we think that the divinity is completely that, but Shri Krishna is saying that that is just one form of divinity, and if you are thinking that divinity has just been limited to that, then you have not completely understood his nature, because his nature is present everywhere. It is infinite, it is eternal, and it is unchanging. So that is what Sri Krishna is saying over here. So we can understand it from an example also. I think that will give you a better understanding of this message, because the unchanging and the unmanifest form is something that is very difficult for us humans as limited beings to grasp. So consider the example, and this again is just for representation purpose. Consider the example of space. Now, in this physical world, everything is located in space, and space is located in everything. If there was no space, then no physical object will be there. So it's very difficult for us to even imagine a situation wherein space is not really there, because space is something which is inherent to existence. Now, if we were to say designate a place in space to study space, so this could be a university, or this could be a laboratory which is studying the characteristics of space time fabric and things like that. So that place has been located just to study space, and it will be foolish for you to say that space is just that space wherein that university or that laboratory is located, because you have just designated that place to study space. That doesn't mean that the entire space is just that particular thing. Space is something which is present everywhere. So when we designate, say, a place, or when we designate a book, or when we designate an entity, say God or whatever you call it, or when we designate an idea, So when we designate these things to study something which is divine, then it'll be foolish to say that divinity is just limited to that. You cannot really say that just this temple or this mosque or this church is divine. Divinity is everywhere. That space has only been designated to study divinity. Similarly, you cannot really say that a certain book is divinity in itself, because that is not the case. That book is there just to study divinity. Divinity is still present everywhere. Similarly, you cannot really say that oh, just Allah is divinity, or just God is divinity, or just this is divinity. You cannot really say that, because divinity is infinite. You cannot really limit it to just one. You cannot limit it to just one. It is everything. Everything included is divinity of all of this existence and everything beyond it. That all is divinity. So if you are saying that okay, Shri Krishna only is divinity, then that is wrong understanding. Divinity is his that version which is eternal, infinite, which is covering everything. Yes, you can use Shri Krishna in himself to study that divinity. You can use it as a manifest form. You can use him to study divinity. But divinity is beyond that, which is infinite, which is unchanging, which is eternal. So if someone says that, no, there is just one divinity, and divinity is different from this universe, and divinity is sitting somewhere else, then that person has not really understood divinity in itself, because you cannot really say that only this thing is divine and it's only located over here. That's not how divinity works. Divinity is present everywhere. It is infinite, it is eternal, and it is unchanging. So that is what Sri Krishna is saying over here. All these idols that we use, all these symbols that we use, all these books that we use, all these um, entities that we just use them as an instrument to study divinity. And they are divine, but divine actually is the entire thing. The entire existence is divine. That is how Sanatan Dharma tells it. And it's very unfortunate that a lot of people from Sanatan Dharma themselves are not really able to understand this idea. And when the external traditions they criticize us, we don't have an answer. So understand this shlok very, very clearly. So I hope that I have explained this shlok well to you. With that, I will close this video. I will see you all in the next video. Take care.